When trying to analyze and understand a company, always think about how is it making money. Starting from this, you can pretty much understand this company's motivations, strategy, and struggles. When it comes to Facebook, this simple question explains why Mark Zuckerberg learned Chinese, why they bought Instagram, WhatsApp, and Oculus, why they launched Free Basics to provide free internet access in poor countries, what's the point of the cryptocurrency Libra, and pretty much everything else that Facebook does. But things don't look good at all, and Facebook is failing when it comes to one of its most important strategies. In this video, I will explain exactly what Facebook does to stay relevant as it desperately tries to avoid the fate of MySpace. Facebook makes money by selling advertising. Companies of all sizes and from all industries pay Facebook to show their ads to Facebook users in their markets. And the reason they pay is because 1. Facebook has access to more than 2 billion people, and 2. Facebook knows a lot of personal information about these people. In some countries, Facebook can reach the majority of the population. For example, in the United States, about 68% of people use Facebook. So as an advertiser, if you want your product to appear on the screens of most people, you know you can do that through Facebook. And because Facebook knows so much about us, advertisers benefit from very detailed targeting. They can reach people by gender, age, occupation, relationship status, location, interests, and much more. Every single action that you do on Facebook, whether it's setting your relationship status as single or liking a certain article, video, page, etc., these are all data points that Facebook uses to better target you. None of these features are designed for the user in mind. They're all for advertising purposes. And that's a problem. Facebook's product is you and me, and that's why they have so many privacy scandals. Facebook must know more and more about us in order to make money. And Facebook can't really respect us because we are the product, not the customers. Because of this, privacy scandals and the general realization that social media is a problem for mental health and social cohesion, the attitude towards Facebook is changing. So as of today, in order to keep growing, remain relevant and make money, Facebook has 3 main goals. Get more people to use Facebook, meaning find new users. Retain the existing users on its platforms. Give them something more to hold onto than just for the social network experience. And finally, show more ads to its users in order to increase revenue. These 3 goals explain everything that Facebook does, but they're particularly failing in one of them. Because technically, Facebook is still just a social network, and social networks can die, like MySpace, as I explained in my previous video. By the way, I have some amazing links for you in the description, other cool informative videos and great quality online courses. So don't forget to check it out below the video. Facebook leadership understands that the risk of everything crumbling down in a relatively short period of time is very real. Even a gigantic social network like this can fail pretty fast. So is Facebook at a high risk of failure? There is definitely a risk, but it depends what you look at. The current statistics show that on the contrary, Facebook is doing great. But several problems are lurking in the background, and a huge one of them are teenage users that have already mostly abandoned Facebook itself. And without the supply of new users from subsequent new generations, Facebook will eventually be doomed in the long run. But that's where acquisitions of apps like Instagram come into play to counter that, but I'll get back to it later in the video. First of all, let's take a look at the latest statistics. They show that Facebook has reached a plateau in terms of users in developed countries like the United States, Canada, and in Europe. But there is no decline in users yet. However, in developing countries, its number of users is growing, particularly in Asia and Africa. That's why Facebook keeps posting an overall growth in terms of users. But eventually, it will reach a critical mass in those countries as well. So what do you do when you reach a maximum limit of people in the world that use your service but still want to grow? That's the first goal that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Find new users. Well, that's why Facebook launched Free Basics in developing countries. In the rich countries, most people have access to the internet. And among them, most are already on Facebook. But in the poor countries, lots of people simply have no access to the internet at all, and Facebook can't reach them. Based on this simple reality, Facebook decided to provide them with a free internet access named Free Basics. It's a mobile app that lets you access some basic websites that don't use your mobile data. These websites can provide weather notifications, local and world news, a few other things, and all of that, of course, only if you sign up to Facebook itself. In order to push this service around the world, Facebook masqueraded it as a philanthropic act with all the PR declarations like connecting the world, opportunities, blah blah blah. However, this strategy soon backfired in some countries, the most dramatic of all being India, where critics argued that this service was only designed to benefit Facebook itself and transgress net neutrality. Facebook could control which websites can be accessed through it, would learn more and more information about its users, and show ads to them. It makes sense. No one should ever fall for corporate philanthropic bullshit. There is always a very valid reason behind every decision that supposedly gives away free money without getting anything in return. But of course, this doesn't take away the benefits that such a service can actually provide. It just seems that more and more people now prefer that companies be straight about their goals and motivations instead of hypocritical statements. Another way for Facebook to keep growing its user base is to access the market where it is forbidden. And unfortunately for Facebook, this market happens to be the biggest in the world. China has forbidden Facebook in 2009 because of political reasons. And if you ask me, I definitely find it unfair from an economic standpoint. That's why you see Mark Zuckerberg speaking great Chinese and running around in Beijing. The whole point of it is to somehow get access to the Chinese market again through goodwill. Finally, the third way for Facebook to keep growing its user numbers is to acquire apps where these users have migrated to or that they prefer. As I already said, teenagers have mostly abandoned Facebook, but they haven't abandoned Instagram. And Instagram is currently the main driver of advertising revenue growth for Facebook. Coincidence? Of course not. Instagram is basically the future of Facebook, together with Messenger. That's how Facebook sees them. Instagram was a brilliant and totally underpaid acquisition. Mark Zuckerberg has also desperately tried to purchase Snapchat back in time exactly for that reason. All the teenagers were on it. But cocky Evan Spiegel refused and decided to carry Snapchat all the way through the IPO. But the future of Snapchat doesn't look great, because Instagram is beating it in almost all aspects. Lastly, Facebook has acquired WhatsApp for the same reason, the number of users. Everybody wondered how Facebook would monetize its WhatsApp audience, given that it's a free service. Well, now we know. WhatsApp recently introduced WhatsApp Status, which is basically the same thing as Instagram Stories, and will start to show ads inside. Given that Stories ads for Instagram are very efficient, Facebook will be able to monetize WhatsApp without changing the messaging experience for the people who are used to it. So these were all the ways that Facebook uses to acquire new users to stay relevant. But what about keeping those users on its platforms? Because after all, they can still migrate to another service if they want to, and they probably will, because of the general negative attitude towards Facebook that is building up. That's the second goal I mentioned in the beginning of this video: retain users on the platform. That's where Messenger, chatbots, Libra cryptocurrency, and even Oculus Rift come in. All of them are designed to keep Facebook users using its services. In Mark Zuckerberg's wet dreams, Facebook basically becomes the Western WeChat. If you don't know WeChat, you should read about it. It's an iconic app because of its tremendous success in China. It's a social network, a messaging service, but most of all, a platform for so many other things in life like payments, ride-hailing, online shopping, money transfers, doctor appointments, driver records, and the list goes on and on. At this point, it's probably easier to make a list of things that you can't do through WeChat. So Facebook just wants to become the same thing as WeChat because that would allow it to keep users locked to its platform and services. As long as Facebook is just a social network, the benefits that it provides to its users are dangerously weak for a company of its size and easy to substitute. Even today already, there seems to be less interaction and engagement on Facebook than before. Back in time, people used to have heated debates of all kinds in Facebook comments, and now everyone is tired of it and barely commenting on anything. So the real sustainable way for Facebook to survive is to actually become a practical, useful service for its users like WeChat. That's why they launched the chatbot trend a few years ago by inviting companies to build services on Messenger. The results are still mitigated as of today and clearly didn't live up to the hype. The Libra cryptocurrency is yet another attempt to offer something tangible to users to hang on to. Whether Facebook will make money directly with Libra or not doesn't even matter. The point is to lock Libra users on its platforms and sustain its ad-based business model this way. Payments are a major part of everyone's life. So if you're a payment provider or a bank, you'll become unavoidable. That's what Facebook wants. So Libra would be one big part of the same old strategy designed to turn Messenger into something more than just a chat app. But for now, as much as Facebook is succeeding with Instagram, which is still nothing more than a social network, they are failing when it comes to turning Messenger into the Western version of WeChat. Finally, just to mention Oculus Rift here. At first, people wondered how would Facebook benefit from acquiring a hardware gadget startup. But from Facebook's point of view, there is actually a perfect cultural fit between both. Once again, Facebook needs to lock users on its platform in order for it to survive. So they will do anything to keep you scrolling those news feeds. And Oculus, well, what a better way to keep a person immersed inside virtual reality for hours like a zombie. That's the same thing. As we merge with our mobile phone screens while browsing Facebook and Instagram news feeds, we could even more so merge with a fully virtual reality headset. But here again, this acquisition didn't work out well for Facebook, just as virtual reality as a whole didn't succeed yet. But it's not over. Just you wait until 5G is deployed and this whole thing might explode for real. And finally, the third goal here, considering all what I said previously, Facebook still must show more and more ads to its users. Even if they manage to turn Messenger into a more elaborate platform, Facebook is just making too much money from ads at this point to be able to replace this revenue source by another one. It might not even be possible at all, no matter how potentially successful an ideal Messenger would look like. And Facebook knows that people have a limited tolerance for ads. For example, the newsfeed has already reached its ad saturation, but video, not yet. Instagram stories, also not. So that's why you'll see more and more of them there, just as WhatsApp stories, status. This is also why Facebook suddenly started to advertise Facebook groups on TV. Yeah, it's a weird thing. If you don't live in the United States, you probably didn't see them, but there are real ads on TV to push people to use Facebook groups to discuss things between fathers of girls or baseball lovers and stuff like this. Facebook wants to develop its groups, create real forums out of them. Why? To be able to display more ads there, since they represent a different newsfeed and so another location to show them. That's how desperate they are. However, from the advertiser standpoint, the side that actually pays Facebook, this is more of an insider information, but Facebook ads are not very efficient for most of them. I have a very detailed video about how Facebook and Google ads compare, and so far, for a lot of businesses, Facebook is more of a gimmick, while Google is still the major money-making machine. This gets a bit technical, but Facebook is great to raise awareness about a brand, but not so much to actually sell a certain product, except for some specific niches where products are very visual. Google, on the other hand, is excellent at selling the products. And advertising to actually sell products is more important for businesses, and that's why more and more of them will soon start to realize the limits of Facebook's invasive ads. If you want to learn more about it, just watch my video about this topic. It's a really good video. All the links are in the description, so make sure to check it out below. And while I'm at it, do subscribe to my channel to watch more videos like this. With all this being said, I'd rather say that Facebook's future doesn't look very bright, despite the recent revenue and user growth reports. Most of the new growth is driven by Instagram, and even Instagram will one day reach its limit, and this rather sooner than later. Also, people might start to realize that Instagram is actually Facebook. The product is much better, there's no doubt about that. But the leadership and the way they treat user data is exactly the same. Because from the user side, Facebook.com already suffers from a disastrous image because of privacy and fake news scandals. Most people recognize that their data is being abused, but still keep using Facebook out of convenience because all their friends are there. And teenagers, well, they don't have this convenience problem because they are not using Facebook in the first place. Facebook.com starts to look a lot like MySpace. Concerning the turn of Messenger into WeChat, there is still a very long way to go, and the process has been so slow and unsuccessful so far that we can rather say that nothing meaningful was accomplished. Messenger is still just a chat app. And even if Facebook would somehow manage to do that, there's another danger, the same danger lurking over all tech giants, which is regulation. Not only there are now political voices calling to break up tech giants, but Facebook already faced a huge institutional backlash to its Libra cryptocurrency project without even having launched anything tangible at this point. Pretty sure that politicians will break Libra even before it is born. Actually, Facebook already decided to not even launch it in India because of anti-cryptocurrency regulation. Yep, India is giving quite a lot of hard time to Facebook. And Oculus, well, it didn't sell anywhere close to the numbers that were expected. As you can see from here, although Facebook keeps growing its user base and ad revenue, it's still not managing to turn itself into a practical everyday platform that would solidify its usefulness for its users more than just for the social networking part. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to turn on the notifications about my next videos. And do check the description below. You will find a lot of amazing links there to learn cool stuff and acquire new skills.